there is, I'm still here under the roof in my house, and it's I think it's fun because it's symbolic to it. It's symbolic of being in the upper room, to be here. It's this house upper room, the highest up I can reach, and it was fun because yesterday, just when I come down to my apartment, then the landlord come, and this one that have the desk for to rent out spaces for people, and she have received my email I just did before I go up here, and if I have been here 5 minutes more, then I have met her here, up here, but she was ring the bell on my door at my apartment, and she said that she had been looking for this space that I have here. I sit. Come on. So, I sit at this bag. It's a big space, so she thought it was occupied. So she be surprised that it was empty. But she said it may be difficulties because there is those pipes going in here, and if I lock the door, then the people that should work with these lines can't reach it. But I say I'm most of the time at home, so it's only come and knock on the door, or they can go in with the key, extra key, because I only sign paper that they allow to come in if they need to repair. I don't have any important things, something that I don't want to lose in my store unit. I have most important things inside my home. So we'll see what she's doing. She's very open and nice person, so we'll see if I can get this space, so I can be here and send many times here live. But I'm going out also, but today is freezing cold and it's misty weather. I don't like to go out in misty weather and cloudy weather that go down on the ground, because there's so much poison in it. So I stay at home if I not have any important to do. Now I'm coming to the basic importance. There is a woman that do comments about my videos, and she don't understand me, and she don't understand how the difference between God and Jesus. She don't understand that. So I want to explain from what my experience are, by that God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob come down to me and talk. He told me he was Abraham's God. He told me that when he come down. And the important is that you have free will under Jesus. If you're walking under Jesus, you have a free will, but not when you are under God, the Creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you have not free will. You are captured, taken, and you can't do anything. Why? Ask yourself, why should Moses want to go into the desert in 40 years? Why should Abraham and all these characters leaving their comfort zone, their home? Was not about free will. They had no free will. When God, the Creator, take you, then you are like a slave in prison, but in a both nice and terrible prison, because it's not a smooth way as people think. It's very terrible. It's much pain and much sorrow, because you want everyone to understand who you are under. People think, because they have been deceived of Constantine the Great in 325, to believe that Jesus was God. And he is not God. He was the first one that heard God talking without showing anything. He only plays in his words into Jesus. And Jesus tried to teach people, but still people don't understand. It's so sad, and I can feel his pain and sadness in his heart when he died, and he have not get these people to understand what he really was. He were we say prophet. He was the first prophet, and Muhammad, he would say that Jesus, Isa, he was the greatest prophet of us all. He was greater than me, say Muhammad, because Muslims believe in Jesus as a prophet. And I believe in Jesus as a prophet and teacher, but I am not under Jesus. I'm not under Jesus. I am under God, the creator of everything, the creator of Jesus also. So you have to have this understanding where I'm coming from, because I was like everyone else before year 2000. I was partying, but in 2000 it changed. Before God come down to me, I started to be changed already there. So I stopped drinking. My husband, he was drinking very much, and I walked to the bar where he was every night. He was there at the bar until 4 o'clock in the morning, and I go to the gym, I exercise, and I stop drinking, and I go in and drink a Coke with him and ask him to come home, and most of the time he didn't come home because he had so fun at the bar. But I stopped there in 2000. It was like God prepared me for what was coming, and but then it was more. I didn't see it before 2000, that the devil was on me. Oh, he was so on me, and I get very much visions, dreams about the devil, sometimes in a hood, And in the hood there was no face. It was only a dark thing, mass. And the last time I got this with the devil, I fight with the devil. And I fight in the way I knew, in my flesh, not in the spirit, because I had not the spirit. So I try, when he come in the hood, and it was dark, but I believe there was a face. I believe that, because I'm used with that. Everything should have a face if it was a body, if it was a living thing. But when I tried to scratch his eyes, so he should stop pulling me to something, to another place, when I reached inside the hood, there was nothing. It was only air. And I wake up and run away, out, and I saw some white shape outside my home, looking into the window on my balcony, and I'd be more scared because I didn't know what's going on. And it was so much every day about from the devil. So I couldn't live anymore. I tried to make suicide. I have decided me to do suicide because it was so hard on me, everything in that year 2000, in the beginning of 2000. So I have decided me to walk into the water and drown. But even if I was very scared about the water, I have decided me. It is like a sickness that is going on just the hours before the suicide. It's not me anymore. So I have decided, and I should have done it, because the water was only 1 block away. I could see the water from my home. And but in the last minute, just in His perfect time, God come. First I saw only like a Jesus figure in the left corner, but then I heard a voice in the air talking to me, and He said He was the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He said that to me. And the Jesus figure on the left, with his clothes on, white hair and white beard, he didn't say anything. He don't talk to me. But the voice in the air was talking to me, and he told me first my childhood that I had forget. I wanted to take that away because it was so bad childhood I had. But God explained for me my childhood, and in that moment when He explained for me, I'd be healed from my childhood. And then God told me what my future should bring, and I didn't know God. I was thinking it was God, but I doubted it was God that was talking to me. I didn't believe at all. And He said, He told me, God, that He told me that daughter should be allowed to carry a child in her womb, but she had not that inside her body, and in that time there was not much help. But today there is help. But she couldn't get any kids. So I laughed when he said that, and I was thinking that I laughed inside me, and thinking that this is not God that tell me this, because if he was God, he should know that my daughter can't be pregnant. She can't wear any child in her womb. And then he confirmed for me, because he said to me, "You laugh like Sarah," and he understood that I didn't know the Bible, so he said a little later, "And Abraham, you laugh like Sarah and Abraham when I told them they should have a child." He said that to me, so I didn't understand. But now, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I understood that he told me who he was by saying this, and it happened that it was like what he said. So, about 1 month later, I find an article in a newspaper about egg donation. So I call up this professor, the researcher that was in the newspaper. And she said that we could come up, my daughter and I could come up to her clinic, her research clinic about fertile process, and she's up at her clinic. She said that it's not allowed in Sweden. It wasn't in 2000, but she was from Finland, so they was allowed in Finland and in England to do egg donation. But she said to me, as I am researcher, science about this, I can help you. I can help you because we are not in the law, because we are in the research. So we can do it in research, in science, test work. And as my daughter was only 15 years old, I had to sign under a paper that we gave away my daughter's body to the science, to the research in Stockholm. And when I signed under the paper, the professor said she can't get any baby in herself, but we can place a baby in her womb. She can carry a baby in her womb, the professor said. And just when I signed under a paper, I understood in that moment that there was really God that was talking. Who else could know this, that my daughter should be allowed to carry a baby in her womb? Who else? Because there was nothing written about it in any television or newspaper or nothing. No one knew that. So that confirmed that it was God that was talking to me. My daughter was with me when God was talking, and I thought she had heard everything that God was talking, but God never talked to her. God was talking to me, and it took years to understand that she is under Jesus. She's working for Jesus. Since that day, when God come down, she is working for Jesus. The next day, after God had talking to me, she was going and joined the church, the youth group in the church, the next day. So she was saved in that time, but under Jesus. So Jesus was talking to my daughter. God was talking to me. And Jesus is the Son of God. And my daughter was there. The Son told the daughter, and the Father talked to the mother. So that's different, two different ways. It's not that in some way I was saved by Jesus, because it was he that told God about my situation. It was he that saved me in that way, that I should not take my life. He said that it's more than she can bear now. She needs to have our help. And I walk away from the whole situation I was in Sweden. I have two options. Either go to the daughter or save money for take an airplane ticket to the United States and only walk away from everything, because it was too much for me to handle, to bear what I had in Sweden in that time. And I could never, ever come to know God if I have been staying in that life I was, because I was still, already from the beginning, I was born very kindly and loving person. And I help people, and no one asked me how I felt. If I wanted some help, no one asked me. My husband was from United States. He was from Texas, and he had friends on this Swedish language class, and he took people with him to me. So I have studied at the university the Swedish law, and they wanted me to go to the lawyers with his friends and be interpretation in English for them, what the lawyers say, and help them. And then I had both my son and my daughter that was like disabled. So I have to go to the hospital very often, 3-4 times in a month, and worries about them. And then my husband, he was drinking, and party the whole day long. And I was working also. I was responsible for all the networks in the social hall, the societies, the city hall. I was the responsible for the computer network, and I was also computer teacher for people that have been addicted to drugs and alcohol and was recovering, and they should learn computer. And I was their teacher. But then also they come home to me. When they go back to drinking or drugs, they come home to me. And then I was the manager for the living area we rent, all the houses, tenants. associations. I was the manager there and responsible that everything was going on right where we lived. And my husband was the worst of everyone. And people screaming and hate me because my husband was doing bad things where we lived, and there was no time for God. I could never have done it without going away from everything. My daughter, she was 15 years old, so she was old enough to could take it, and she go back to her father. My husband from Texas was not a father, and she lived with her father again, so I could go. She was safe, and my son was 25, so he had his own life, so it didn't harm them. So I went away, and I saw only like a tunnel. I still never see the water again. I see the tunnel, and on back I have a closed door, and in front of me I have an open door, and that was to go to United States. But I didn't know where to go. So I come to United States and to Seattle, and that was not the place God wanted me to start with in United States. So in 2 months, I went from Seattle and live in Chicago I come to United States December 18, 2000, and I lived in Chicago area over Christmas and New Year, and I go in January to Florida, to Daytona Beach, and live there for some weeks. And then I go to West Palm Beach. I was there, and then I go back to Daytona Beach, and then I go to North Carolina, and then I go to Virginia Beach. I started. And then I was in Virginia State. There was without any money, because when I go to United States, my bank account, I have a double owner bank account. So my husband ran to the bank as soon as he saw that I was gone and closed the bank account for me. So I didn't have any money, but God gave me money. Now I get oh, so God gave me money God gave me money so I could travel all the way to Virginia. He didn't want me to Seattle. It was not a place for him to work in. He wanted to see what's going on in Virginia, and I was most of the churches. The longest time I was in a church, it was the Rock Church International in Virginia Beach, and I was baptized there. And then I get my ordained pastor title in Florida. And I was there in United States for 1,290 days, like it says in the Revelation about this woman and the dragon. and she was out in the wilderness, but covering of God in 1 to 290 days. I was exactly that. I come to United States December 18, 2000, and I come back to May 4, 2004. That's exactly what God wanted me to stay. It was very hard to stay in United States as I had no income, and I was homeless the whole time. The last year I was in United States, did I get to work because it was this terror attack. So I got a job in a Muslim home and staying inside there as a living-in nanny for kids, two wild kids, 6 and 7 years old. And I had to clean the whole house. It was 2 stores house. And mother, when she come home, every time she took her hand down on the floor and sweep with her hand to see if was any filthy thing on it. And everything's be shining, everything in the house shining. And she kicked me out many times because she was evil, this woman. And her husband was not so good either, but he loved and worshiped his kids. And so the kids love me and say, no, don't take her out, we want our nanny. And the father said, I say to him first, I say, you are the man in the house. You are the head of the house. I say, I didn't know if it says in the Quran like that, but it must have been because he understood. So he protected me from being homeless again and have nothing to eat and these things. The woman was so bad. So when I say I can't stand chili spices, hot spices. Oh, she put in so much hot spices in the food, so not even her husband could eat her food. So I have to take the money I got. I got very little money from them to work so hard. 12 hours a day I had to work. So I had to go and eat sometimes outside because I have no food to eat. But the husband, he loved fish. So, and the woman didn't like fish. So sometimes I get some fish from what he have done, and he had no spices in it. It was terrible. He hated me so much, the parents, because I was a Christian in that time, and I have the Bible in the house, and I read for the children in the Bible, and they were so wild and evil kids, but I put the hand on them, on their heads, and then I talked to God about to take them down and cool them off. And he every time I did, hold their heads, hold their hand on that, he slowed them down and make them love me. Because I say, I didn't care if they kick me out. I say, if you do that, I'll be very angry at you. And they say, oh, we are calling mom and father, and they kick you out, they say, in the first week there. And I said, yeah, call them, and I am out here. And then you will see what nanny you get after me. So they never did it. And then they start to love me because I disciplined them. I put, like the boy could call for me upstairs for yourself. Nanny, come. And I said to him, you're a young boy. You have fresh legs, so you are coming to me. I say to him, these sort of things I learned them. I never come to them when they call for me, if they are not sitting on the computer or sitting down like doing works. But if they only want me to do something for them upstairs, and I was down and it was 12 hours, and I started to get this psoriasis inside my joint, and I had so much problem with the body, so I couldn't. I have to tell him, you have to go to me and show me what it is you want me to do, and tell me. So I am not going to run any longer here in the life. I will see what's coming if I get this space, but I don't know how should I could pay the rent. I have so much to pay now, and my retirement money is not very much. So we'll see. God maybe help me to could solve this problem as He have solved all my problems since He came down in August 2000 and took me as His slave, as His prisoner, to do the work, not in my will. If you have walking in my shoes, to be homeless, going down from a wealthy life to walk the street as a homeless and not knowing where there is a bed to lay and where to eat. In the beginning I didn't eat for 4 days, and I was thinking there is left over from the restaurant. I can go and take the food, but then I saw the birds eating from their plates, so I didn't do that. And then in one night when it was terrible, I had no home, no food to eat, and God come down as bright light, and in the bright light there was not a body, it was only a voice in the white light, and He told me to go to a church. And I asked God, what church should I go to? I will show you, say the voice. And I said, what should I say to them? I said to the light, to the voice, I will show you. And in the morning, I find there was a Gideon Bible, because I was in a hotel room, because the police have taken me to a hotel room and paid for it, because I was on my way to be killed. And they come and get me and put me in a hotel. And I didn't know where to go. I was in Franklin, in Virginia, in that time. And I didn't know where to go. I had no money, no bus or nothing. But God came last night and said that I should go to church. And then in the desk I find a Gideon Bible, and then it was a telephone book. So I understood to put a finger inside the Bible and inside the telephone book. And it was I understood it later on. The church I should go to was the Rose of Sharon. The Rose of Sharon is Jesus. And in that time I was under Jesus. I was not under God. I was first under Jesus to understand his life. And I called the pastor, the bishop. He was a bishop. And I said to him that God have coming to me in the night and he say that I should go to your church. And he laughed. No one hear God talking to them. God not talking to anyone. He say laugh. But then God come out from me, and he was angry at this bishop. And I don't know what he said, because I was out myself. It was the Spirit of God that was talking to this bishop. But I heard the bishop say, "Oh, I going to get you. We send you a car." Say, and then on to his church, cute little church, and it was only the family there, and it was blue-black people, all. So I felt me so white when I walked into the church, and I go to the office, to the bishop, and I say, "Here I am. God have taken me to your place." And I was giving him the Psalm 86. This, that I'm needy, but I'm a holy person. I'm holy. You don't need to have everything in your life. You can be holy, even if you have nothing. You are holy for God. It's not about money. It's about your heart. It's about your heart. It's not about money. God wants your heart. He wants you to understand, to obey his words, and understand what Jesus is talking about. He's talking about God's kingdom. And Jesus was in the Spirit most of the time. So what he's talking about is in the Spirit. And you have to understand what he's saying in the Spirit, not in flesh, in the Spirit. Most everything in the Bible is about the Spirit. But if you don't have any Spirit inside you, you have hard to understand. You have to trust people like me that have the Spirit inside me. But you have to know if it's a good spirit or an evil spirit. That's the most tricky thing, because you know the devil can look like an angel of light, a white angel. He can be very handsome, have much money, well-talking, and those things that we want in our flesh, what we want in the flesh, but it's not in God's will. You have to be careful, because this time is the deceiving time more than ever of the devil. Even I can sometimes know if it's from the devil. But the one thing I do to know it is to wait. Because the devil wants fast thing, fast money, fast you, fast love from you. Everything. Fast. He can't wait. He has no time to wait. He has so much to do to deceive the world. So he can't wait. So if you only wait, don't answer immediately. Wait. Maybe wait one day, and you will see the truth of this person that is talking to you, that wants something from you. If it's good spirit or evil spirit. We live in the last days, and this is the war in the spirit world. We don't see it. We can hear it. We can get some stupid things in our brain to do, but we have to wait and ask God. If we don't know God's voice, I know God's voice, but if you don't know God's voice, ask God, not Jesus, ask God, the Creator, because He created both evil and good things for us to understand the difference between evil and good for the last days that we are in now. We have to educate us, get the information, that we don't go into the trap of the devil. So wait. That's why this time is so stressful. That is fast communications, fast in everything. Airplane is fast now and take you to different places. Everything is fast because we live in the devil's time. The fast, the take out from your ears the telephone. Don't be deceived. You don't need to answer the telephone immediately. They can wait. They can wait. If at the university, my teacher said, wait until they have. It was written letters in that time. If they have written, the third time they are written, then we answer. Not the first one, not the second one, but the third time. Then it's an important thing they said to you. That's a good idea. We live in a fast, stressful time. So calm down so much as you can. What did you do for 10, 15 years ago? How did you live your life in that time when it was not so much stress? What did you do? This word I bring with you, and I hope you be blessed of something I have said. God's Spirit did come this time because all the words I say, it was my knowledge that I have got from Him when I was walking under Him. First I walked with Jesus, and then I started to walk under God, and then now is the Holy Spirit's time in my life. So God bless you, all my friends. I love you. I love all.